Hi there, Brian here and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be trying out some pre-mixed canned mojitos. So if you've seen my video where I tried some pre-mixed canned margaritas, you'll know I'm not really a fan of canned cocktails. But I thought it was an interesting video, so we're going to give it another shot, this time with the mojito. So we've got 4 different ones here. We have one by All Shook Up Mojito, we have a Bacardi one, which technically you would think this is going to be the best one because Bacardi have kind of like made a name off the mojito. A Served, if I remember rightly, was these ones that weren't very nice in the margaritas, I don't know. And a Moth Mojito. Now, if I remember the margarita video, the moth one I think was one of the best ones out of all of them, so maybe that is going to be the one to look out for. Although I don't think any of these are going to be the one to look out for, if I'm honest. Fine, but that is it. So these are the cans we're going to be trying. We're also going to be making a control, so we've got a nice one to start with. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so let's make a control mojito. So first thing we want is glassware. I've got a glass here with just been chilling nicely, so I'm just going to dump that. Right, so now we've got a nice chilled glass. So what we're going to be wanting is some mint. So let's get the mint. I've got some fresh little baggie of mint here that I picked up earlier. So I like mine extra minty, so I've got quite a few sprigs of mint, and you just want to wake the mint. So there we go. So the mint is in, now we're going to muddle. Okay, so we've got the mint in, we're just going to give that a quick press. Not too much. There we go, just nicely. I'm going to leave that there. Now we're just going to want some lime. And for this, I'm actually going to be putting in, I'm going to be slicing half a lime into 4, and then we're going to be putting it in, and I'm going to muddle it in with the lime. Now we're just going to add the simple syrup and the rum, so we're going to start with the rum. That's 60 ml of rum, and then we just want to take 10 to 20, so I'm going to probably go 15 on that. Yeah, there we go. Depending on how sweet you want it really. I quite like mine minty and limey, so. Okay, so that is all the ingredients added. Now we just want a bit of ice, so we're just going to add some ice. And then we're just going to give it a little twizzle. Now we're going to add more ice. So now we've got a soda water top. One final twizzle. Okay, so we gave it a final twizzle. We brought some of the ingredients up in the glass so it looks a bit nice. It's not all sat at the bottom of the glass. Now we just want to finish off with some garnish, and all we're going to do there, we're going to straw it, and then I've got some crushed ice, which I crushed earlier, and we're going to put a crushed ice cap on this, and that is and there we go, crushed ice cap. Move that out of the way. And finally, to finish the garnish, we'll just put a little sprig of mint there and a lime there. That's probably going to fall. There we go. And there we go. A nice mojito. Okay, so we've got our control sat there all nice. Now let's get on to pouring these. So as the control is made with Bacardi, we'll pour this one closest to that. Right, that's the Bacardi one. And then let's go Moth next to that, because Moth and Bacardi I'm probably holding out the best hopes for here. Just because Moth was the best out of all of them when it came to the margaritas. They still weren't good. But there we go, so there's the Moth. That is definitely clearer, so that's not a good sign. And let's try the all shook up. We'll put that one next. Put the served at the end, because if I remember rightly, served was the worst out of the margaritas. So there we go. Oh, bit cloudy. So yeah, that might be better than that middle one. It's looking a bit. And let's see this. That's just lemonade. What the? Right. So as I expected, the serve just looks like lemonade. I mean, the margarita was bloody lemonade. It was not a margarita at all. Right. So how are we going to tackle this then? Let's start by taking a little sip of the control. Yep, that's good. Very minty. Maybe I could have done with a little bit more lime in mine, because I do like mine very limey and very minty. But very nice, refreshing is what that one is. So let's get on to the actual Bacardi one. So this is Bacardi's pre-mixed canned version of a mojito. Now, just tried one made by myself, so let's try theirs. You can taste it's mojito, it's just so light. What is the horsepower of this now? Let's have a look. 5%. Ooh, that's not good really, is it? 5% horsepower. Not impressive. And flavour wise, like I say, it's very light. Let's see what it says. Does it have any oh, great, serve chilled, better with friends. Good. I'm glad it doesn't say serve over ice, because it's so weak. If you had it over ice, you'd water it down, it'd be nothing. Okay, so the Bacardi, oh, lost my garnish. Bacardi one, yeah, light on flavour, or light on alcohol as well. Let's get a sip of that. Yeah, I hate using two straws, it makes that funny noise when you're sipping. Right. Right, yeah. Oh, let's get rid of that bit of ice that fell over there. Okay, so we're going to go back to the cocktails. Let's try the, what's this one? The Moth, wasn't it? The Moth Mojito. Rum, mint, lime, soda. Dreaming. Wow. Oh, 10%. Oh. So, we've got 10% horsepower here. Let's see what this one's like. Oh. And that one's better than the Bacardi one, straight away. You can actually tell there's some alcohol in that. Not a lot, but I'd say that one's passable for a canned cocktail, maybe. Well, maybe. The Moth one is not too bad. And at 10% horsepower, it's, not too bad either. But, let's try this one. So what's this one? The All Shook Up Mojito. Made with rum. Well, obviously. Drink responsibly. Oh. It says 3%. Oh no, I thought it was 3% volume. I was going to shit myself. I'm like, no, it's 3% fruit juice. Where's... The horsepower is actually 3.4%, so that's not very good. This is the weakest one of the lot, so let's have a look. That might as well be Sprite. In fact, that actually does taste like Sprite. That tastes nice, because it tastes like Sprite, but it doesn't taste anything like a Mojito. If you gave me that and said, oh, it's a can of Sprite, it's from a can of Sprite, I would be like, okay, fair enough. And then after about 20 of them, start feeling a bit tipsy at 3.4%. So finally we have the served, ooh, 8%, so going up. 8% horsepower on the served, very clear on the drink, so, and the margaritas were terrible, so let's have a look at this one. No, it's a bit better than this one. So let's go in order. So, we know this one. 1. 2. So, you shouldn't really count that one, it's not fair. Right, 1. So Moth definitely comes in at the top of these. So now it was, what was that? That was the lemonade, wasn't it? Oh no, that's a Sprite. Right, so oh, that's not fair because I still taste that last one. That Spritey taste hangs around in your mouth. I'm not sure on these two. I'm actually thinking the Bacardi is the worst one. Okay. Although it was a terrible margarita, they haven't done a bad job on the Mojito. Still not brilliant, but for a canned cocktail, these two, maybe I'd have, you know. Do I pick the Sprite over the actual Bacardi? I mean, Bacardi should be like, what's romping this one, but it's right at the bottom. I suppose Bacardi's got to go above that one. I can't put that ahead of the Bacardi just because I like it, because it tastes like Sprite. Right. Mojitos. Canned mojitos. I'm going to give them a... Margaritas were a fail, definitely. Canned mojitos. I get a barely pass, you know. They're not brilliant. So much easier to just make yourself a nice one, but, you know, they're passable. If you're going out and about, yeah. Says the guy who drinks White Claws. That's bad. Just for you, I got into White Claws literally because I started using them as lengthening agents for other cocktails. Mojito being one of them. I was like, because the lime White Claw was something I bought as a lengthening agent to replace the soda water in some mojitos. See what it was like. Good. Definitely good. But yeah. I don't even know where I was going with that one. I kind of lost. I think this is actually starting to creep up on me now. So we are going to wrap this video up quickly. Let's just get a little sippy sip. That's it. Right. So that is the end of this video. Mojitos get a pass. It's actually really tasty, all of that together with mine mixed in. I think after this video that's going in the fridge and that's going to be something I drink for the rest of the day. Right, but anyway, that's the end of this video. Okay, so that is the end of this video. Better wrap this up because the camera bloody died and I've had to recharge it quickly just so I can get this ending finished and filmed. So that is the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and as always, hopefully I'll see you next time. Take care and goodbye.